All right. There is a group of people. I'm going to attempt to say this and probably butcher the absolute mess out of it, but it's okay because they're racist, so who cares? A Sartu or Satru Folk Assembly in Murdock, Minnesota. Apparently, the town population is all of 280 people. They got a permit to start a church. A whites-only church. They got approved. And apparently the city council or whoever approved it said, well, if we didn't approve it, then we would have an expensive lawsuit on our hands and blah, blah, blah. And so the people of Murdock went to neighboring counties or whatever and got themselves a good old 50,000 signatures and said, we are not going to tolerate this. Just because you have your freedom of this and your freedom of that does not mean we are going to tolerate racism in our community. So they probably won't have a moment's peace, but what I want to know is what's going to happen with this Asartu Folk Assembly garbage in their whites-only church. See, because it's not like what we call white church, black church in this country, because it just means predominantly white or what predominantly black. Not whites only. Because I've been to both. My mother's church was predominantly black, and the church that I served in was predominantly white. Then you had, 2-3 black people and like 10 Navajo, and they were all in the same family. Anyway, what's going on with these people? 2 of Wands. Strength. Judgment. 6 of Swords. Hierophant. Okay, that's religious in nature. The Temperance. That's religious in nature too. The Ace of Pentacles. The Sun. Page of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. So their little permit is going to be challenged, but I think it holds up for at least a little bit. I believe this is going to be very far-fetched, so you take this with a grain of salt. Do you hear me? Take this with a grain of salt. I think there will be actual spiritual, religious, godly, Jesus-y, angel-y judgment upon this church. I wholeheartedly believe that. Like there's going to be something. The pipes will burst, the roof will cave, you're going to have one thing after the other until you get the message. The Hierophant and the Judgment. Okay, judgment on itself, like I said, is resurrection. The Hierophant is morals and establishments with rules. Put them together, however, this is I use this deck on purpose, mind you, because they are horrible, disgusting, grotesque people. But there will be some actual judgment on a spiritual basis and not in the afterlife and this here life. So the Hierophant and the Judgment are going to deliver some sort of bad news to these people. There is an attempt to reach is what's happening here with the Temperance and the 6 of Swords. This is not punishment. This is an attempt to reach. We have to also keep in mind we are not God. We may be judging them from our fleshy standpoints, but when it comes to spirit and all that good stuff, they try the softer approach first, and then, after that. But they are committed to this here with the Strength and the 2 of Wands. So there is no changing them on this in particular issue. But it will be obvious here with the Sun. There will be some reckonings. And their little permit here is It's not worth it, y'all. It's like, it's just not. But the judgment is coming. And not from the community. The community may not give you a moment's rest. And they shouldn't. But the judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. And when it does, it comes with fire.